Good morrow, fair and gentle makers. Aye, 'tis the 3rd week of the Creation Station Summer Reading Program, and what say you to being on this grand sojourn with us? I bid you to join us as we move forward to a time of kings and queens, of the renaissance of great invention and of art, a time of William Shakespeare, and for this week's project, a time of the knights. Huzzah! In this week's kit, we will learn how to make a chainmail bow tie or hair clip using laser-cut EVA foam. Chainmail has been used as protective armor dating all the way back to the 4th century BC, but is more widely known for its use in the medieval ages before finally being replaced by plate armor. Chainmail was considered successful in protecting its wearer from edged weapons if welded correctly. If not, the mail could leave some serious bruises or injuries. Since chainmail is relatively flexible, the wearer could easily move around in combat while still being protected. An average hauberk, or shirt of mail, can weigh around 22 pounds, which is why we are sticking with foam for today's project. It won't be very protective, but by the end it will look pretty realistic. EVA foam is a common material used in fabricating props and outfits for cosplay. The EVA we are using will be taking the place of the metal links that are used in traditional chainmail. The Creation Station team was able to design the pattern in your kit on our laser cutting machine located in the makerspace. The laser is able to accurately cut out the pieces needed for your design. White EVA foam was used as an example in the video. However, each kit will receive EVA foam in the color black. Your kit will include 8 rows of the chainmail link design, 4 thin strips of 2 different sizes to act as leather straps, and 1 wide piece to create the bow shape. Once you've taken your template out of the bag, you're going to want to separate your chainmail design from the main template. Be very careful that you do not rip the foam as you tear it out. You're also going to want to remove the dots that are located inside of the pattern as well. This will make sure that you're able to knit your pieces together. Once you've cleared away all the excess pieces, you want to make sure that you have all 8 strips of the chainmail pattern. For this project, you will only need 7. The 8th is just in case you happen to rip one of your rows. Once you have all your pieces in place, you're going to want to try and knit them together. How you're going to knit is first you're going to take one row and carefully squish one of the circles. Once that circle is squished, you're going to carefully push it through another circle on a different row. Once it goes through the hole, pull it all the way through until you have the circle resting in place of the loop. You're going to want to keep doing this several times for all 7 rows. Now that you've knit together all pieces of your design, you're going to want to check and make sure that they're all going in the same direction. For the front, it should look something like this. And this is what the back side of your piece should look like. If everything looks good, now it's time to use your heat tool to flatten your piece. In the video, I'm using a heat tool, but at home you can use a hair dryer. Just make sure that your parents are watching closely so you don't burn yourself. With extreme caution, hold your knit pieces to a table surface and apply the heat from above. Make sure it's not too close so the foam does not melt. When you're done applying the heat, you can pull, stretch, and push with your hands in order for it to lie flat. Now it's time to paint. We're going to be using silver paint to create the chainmail, And for our leather pieces, we're going to use brown paint. First, we're going to paint our chainmail links. We're going to use the provided silver paint and carefully cover each one with paint. Now you'll notice I go over certain areas. That's just because I wanted to make sure everything was covered. Once I finish with the silver, I'm going over my leather straps and my wide strip with brown paint. This is going to give it the effect that it's made out of leather. You want to make sure that before you move on to the next step, that everything has dried. Once everything has finished drying, there are several different ways that you can assemble your pieces together. If you have a hot glue gun and glue sticks, you can use that, but you want to be very careful that you don't melt the foam. Another type of adhesive is super glue. This works really well and sticks really fast, but don't glue your fingers together. And finally, you can also use foam glue. Be very careful as this is flammable and kind of toxic, so it's not recommended for kids. First thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we weave our long strips in first. You're going to want to go in and out of all the different circles at the top and bottom of your piece. There's no wrong way to weave this through your chainmail, but what I'm doing is I'm taking the strap and going through the front of one of the circles and then to the back of the one next to it. So it should be front, back, all the way through. And just repeat that on the other side. Once you have the top and bottom straps woven through, you're going to do the same to your end pieces. Remember, front, back. And it's okay to have extra pieces sticking out because we're just going to cut them at the end. Once you have all the strips woven in your piece, you're going to want to glue the edges together. So at the end of your bottom and your side pieces, you're going to add a drop of glue. In the video, I'm using the foam glue, but you can use any glue of your choice. You just want to make sure that it's compatible with the foam. Once you're done with the glue, you want to make sure you trim off all the excess strips. Now it's time to turn this rectangle into a bow. Take your wide strap and kind of curve it around. We want to make sure it's in a rounded shape. Then you're going to take your chainmail and you're going to pinch it in the middle so it looks like a bow. You're going to try and estimate where the middle is. And then you're going to wrap around your strap to make sure it fits. You might have to trim off the edge. Once you're happy with how everything's going to sit, you're going to apply glue to your strip and wrap it around your bow. You might have to hold it for a few seconds to ensure that it stays in place. You can take a few moments to straighten out your bow to make sure it looks as good as you want it to be, and then get ready to apply the barrette clip. I recommend using super glue, but you can use hot glue for this as well. You just want to make sure that the clip doesn't stick together after you apply it. Carefully put some glue right in the middle on the back side of your strap, and then carefully set the barrette clip and hold it for a few seconds until the glue sets. Alas, this shall complete our summer reading program quest for the week. These fine chainmail bow ties and hair clips are fit for any lord or lady of the realm. Thank you again for joining us for this week's project. We hope that you can join us next week when we have more summer reading program kits available. Please call the Creation Station to request yours today.